everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Three Dads and a Console. We know not every dad can stay up to date on the latest and greatest in video game news that you need to know about, so we're here to do it for you. Remember, this show is kid-friendly, so no earmuffs are needed. Now on with the show, I'm one of your hosts, Santa Waba, alongside, as always, the man who puts the hoe in holiday court.
Honestly, I'm looking at my eye in the video and I'm just like, it's so terrible. I really do need a patch.
Would you call it eye-mazing?
I do call it eye-mazing.
I'd say you got an eye for gaming.
Oh, Jesus.
Nice,
I do, actually. I picked up a PlayStation Portal, which is like a unicorn right now. Like, I honestly didn't think that was going to be so hard to get, because when they pre-sale first started, I was like, you know what? They'll be everywhere. And now they're still like, people are hawking these things for like $600 Canadian online. Like, they're asking a pretty penny for these. They're so hard to get. But I will say this, my full review will be coming probably next week. While everybody else is, having their Christmas, I'll be doing a review on the PlayStation Portal. I'm liking it so far. Like, a good friend of the show, Steve Igvari, told me that I had to get one. And actually, Marcel was with me on Friday night when everybody was pretty much telling me and another friend, like, you guys got to go get one of these. And someone said to me, it's the perfect parent handheld. And already last night, my wife was watching TV and I was sitting there with her and I'm like, well, I could do a couple things in, this game and that game. And yeah, I was just checking off boxes in my avatar, just going across on the screen very easily on this portal with no volume, because that is one of my gripes, but we can get into that.
Well, keep your eye out for that review. We are also joined, he's a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Hello, Pez.
What's up, gentlemen? Listen, it's been 3 weeks since I haven't been on the show.
Seriously.
And for those that don't follow us on Twitter or follow me on Twitter, I am now enshrined in Nintendo nerd culture because the Zelda tattoo phase 1 is done.
For youtube.com/dads and a console.
It's going to be upside down.
Shit.
But basically, it is the Legend of Zelda. It is the Wind Waker stained glass shade style, cell shaded. So it gets fully colored on January 12th. So
Here we go. I like it.
Right.
Zelda sucks.
Boo.
Wow. You know what? Wow. I would expect that from somebody who just plays PlayStation.
Yeah, well, hold on. I also play Xbox, and I do play a little bit of Nintendo. It's just, I'm a Mario stan on Nintendo, and I still have yet to ever play Smash Bros. And I was like lambasted by that on a regular basis on the weekend.
What?
Never played Smash Bros.
Hold on. What Zelda games have you actually played?
Zelda.
Yeah.
Link to the Past.
Yep.
What's the one that Link's Awakening? I love that one. That one's amazing.
Yep. That's the only one I played.
And then the one on Super Nintendo, which was
Link to the Past.
No, which Zelda 2, the one where you're side scrolling.
Yeah,
like that.
Even
though a lot of people don't. That's NES. And then N64. And then I played
Ocarina?
Breath of the Wild. Ocarina I really like. And then Breath of the Wild I played for over 40 hours, and I hated every minute of it. That game annoyed the living daylights out of me.
I can't, these are, I feel like it's the information I need to know before coming on the show. I would not have agreed to be on the show right now.
That's all right.
That's why we didn't tell you until now.
Like, first you're busy winking at me for half the show, and now like the Zelda, like, I can't. All right, let's just get this over with. So.
That fourth voice you hear is our friend Marcel. For those who don't know, he's a Toronto Leafs fan, so watch out.
Let's go.
Boo.
Took a big loss the other night, but ready to bounce back against Buffalo. So,
This sounds exactly what Bruins fans are saying after that Minnesota game.
They better be
another great year.
Okay, I will say
enough.
this. Yeah. I was saying this to the guys before the show, but everybody listening, Marcel and I, within 5 minutes of knowing each other, were chirping each other about hockey like crazy. But he is a actual hockey fan where he will chirp his own team just like we chirp our Boston Bruins. He didn't, like, when we were talking, we had dinner at a nice Burger King. It was nice and romantic. We were chirping. I was chirping his goaltending and his defense, and he was like, "Yeah, that's a thing." But we have Austin Matthews, and I'm like, "Well, no, you're right." So he knows what he's talking about. He understands hurt as a Leaf fan. He gets it. So like,
Been hurt
and we
many
now
times.
understand
Yep,
it.
yep.
Yeah.
It's been hurt my whole life during this lifespan of the team I've been loving. So
Seriously.
So Marcel, for folks who listen who might not be familiar with your work, could you give folks a little bit of a rundown about what your gaming career is like?
absolutely. So I've been streaming on Twitch since 2015 and been loving our video games my entire life. I would say I'm pretty much born with a controller. Back in the NES day when I also played Zelda and also Zelda 2. I love Zelda as well, and all the like. I'm a huge Nintendo fan, or just a huge video game fan as well. Also runs in the Toronto Twitch meetup as well. Here based out of Toronto. On top of that, and yeah, just been loving video games. I used to take them apart when I'm like, oh, something's not working together, and put them all back together. And you know, I was a Sega kid growing up, so I'm all over the place with video games. So.
You made fun of me for Zelda, and you were like dropping I was a Sega kid.
What's wrong with the
I'm
Sega?
sorry. What
What's
is
wrong
wrong
with
with
the
the
Sega kid?
Genesis?
Hold on.
The Game Gear.
Yeah, even though it took 6 batteries,
You-
and I had to steal every battery from every remote in the house. It doesn't matter.
I'm
So
the reason
amazing.
for all the landfills because of all the
Honestly,
double A's.
growing up, the people that had a Genesis where I lived, either you had a Nintendo, but if you had a Genesis, you'd be like, you could be worse and have a TurboGrafx 16, but like you're like this, you're like the ugly stepchild. If you had a Sega Master System,
This is
I would say the
Where-
Master System.
this
Where
is
did you grow up? What?
insane. This is insane.
You're either the Sega kid or you're the Nintendo kid, and then you go to each other's house because like gaming back then
what? Ultra
it wasn't
Beast?
cheap.
That wasn't even a good game. Michael Jackson game was good. Moonwalker, that was very good.
Streets of
Ultra
Rage?
Beast was terrible.
Streets of Rage 2, by the way. Great beat 'em up.
Sonic's
Question your gaming-
overrated.
I gotta pick out your gaming taste. You said Sonic's overrated, Altered
Yeah.
Beast is bad, but you picked Michael Jackson Moonwalker.
That
as your
game's
best
awesome,
game?
dude.
What?
That game's
I
awesome.
How
don't
are
under-
you on this podcast?
You know, I'm
I don't
glad we're
understand.
taking a 2-week break after this. We just
Oh,
deserve it.
I'm glad we have another person in our corner. You know, but you know what they say? It's gonna be a blue Christmas when you can have a blue Christmas by playing Avatar.
Ooh,
How'd I
what-
do?
Segue,
honestly,
segue.
How'd I
hold
do?
on. So Marcel,
That was good. I like
when
good.
when Waba does this,
Mhm.
it's like a unicorn. Because usually he's a fumble muffin, and they're so bad that Pez and I
Fumble
have to
muffin.
like do a redo, and Pez will do one, and I'll do one, and prove to him how easy it was.
Mhm.
But that was good.
That
So
was
it
really
has to be
good.
recognized. It
I've
has
been
to be
practicing in the
recognized.
mirror, in front of the mirror.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
So, Court and Marcel, both of you have played some Avatar.
Yeah.
Frontiers of
I
Pandora.
forget what's the rest of
Frontiers
the
of
tagline?
Pandora.
Frontiers of Pandora.
Yes,
Um,
thanks to our
us
friends
some
over at
impressions.
Ubisoft Canada. Because we
Yes.
thank you providing us a code. I have put almost 40 hours into the game. So I think I can safely give my full opinion on this game. The game is beautiful. The graphics look fantastic. I almost would say that it looks better at nighttime than it does in the daytime. So there's a day-night cycle, and you can be in an area that just looks green and luscious, and then it becomes night, and it's like you're in a nightclub in Vegas, and it's neon, and it's crazy. They do a phenomenal job building the world of Pandora and making you feel like you're in Avatar the movie. And if you like those movies, I right off the bat, I would think you would love this game. It takes place between the first and the second movie. You're going against the RDA, and you're using a bow and arrow pretty much, because they do give you a gun, but I'll say this for the people that are going to play the game: just use your bow and arrow, because the guns are very underpowered, and you're going to have to stealth. I would say that this is, a lot of people came in and saying this is a Far Cry game. I would say this is a cross between Far Cry, Assassin's Creed Stealth, Far Cry like world type, but Assassin's Creed Stealth with Watch Dogs hacking. Because there's hacking in this game. So they do a whole lot of other things. So like you have to, I would strongly suggest stealth, and I would strongly suggest to anybody playing this, stick to the story and don't Ubisoft the game, where Ubisoft puts a lot of things on maps and you have to go check off boxes. Hit the story as quickly as possible so you can get your mount. Because if you don't have a mount, it takes a really long time to get across the map. Like really long time to get across the map, to get from one place to the other. Yes, you can fast travel. When you do fast travel, they added a mechanic where you need to eat because you get tired after you fast travel. A lot like Zelda, that game we were talking about before. They have these mechanics in it that you have to do this, and my only gripes I would say about this game is the map. I'm not a fan of the map at all and the navigation in it. The map is huge, but the navigation in this game is extremely difficult to deal with. There's not really points. They have these like little glowing circles to almost show you, but I suffered a bug in the game where I was stuck in a rock and I couldn't get out. And I thought that I couldn't play the game anymore. I did get out. Like thanks to Ubisoft, we figured it out and we got me out of this rock. But the glow is now gone. So it literally will say here's some hints of where you have to go on the map, but there's no icon on the actual map that tells you where your mission is. There's icons for all these different things on the map, but where your next mission is not actually on the map. So you have to actually look on the map and it says like it's in this region and go there and keep going until you find the mission. It's tedious. What's your opinion on the game so far, Marcel?
I, I'm trying to find the best reasons to connect with the game. I'm not a big Avatar fan at all, and I also voice your opinions on the game as well. It does feel like I'm in the world of Far Cry, but like it does have the stealth of Assassin's Creed as well. And I do like the whole movement, and just visually the game is like, that was the first thing I saw with the game. Is just visually it's outstanding, very very beautiful. One of the best works I've seen. Even with if you're, because for me I'm very like technical. I like the graphical geekiness.
And you're playing on PC, right?
I play on PC, so you can like tweak a lot of different things, and like the benchmark of theirs is outstanding. You can test it with frame generation and like the AMD stuff or DLSS as well. Like there's a lot of like tweaks you can do, which is like the stuff that I really really like. So that alone should get like recognized as well. That you can do a lot of cool things with this game, and good on Ubisoft for even adding on like such a great benchmark on top of that. But I'm finding it really hard. I'm just struggling to like connect with this game, which is probably the reasons why I played under 2 hours so far with the game. I am planning going back into it as well. But I just like, even with the beginning of the story, I was like, oh, this happened to that person. Oh well, like that type of scenario and everything. And I'm just finding it really hard to connect with them as well. And hopefully I could over the holiday I'll dive right back in and try to connect with the game properly. But like overall, like everything you said, I definitely agree with the gameplay I have done. You can travel a little bit faster, even based off the plants as well. Some plants will like launch you across if
the
you
bouncy mushrooms,
the bounce of mushrooms and everything, which is really really neat. And like this is how like the whole world is kind of really destructive as well. Like if a big enemy is going after you, it'll like just destroy like plants all around you. Some things that you think like, oh, like that's like a wall barrier. It's like, oh no, that's just destructible and it destroys that entire plant and chase you down if needed. But yeah, overall, I'm just really struggling, like trying to connect with this game. I'm not the biggest Avatar fan. Those who I have friends who love Avatar, they're super excited about this game. And I feel like with all the hard work that they put in, it's just I feel like a lot of people might end up skipping this game, sadly. But
Especially with the time of the year.
Especially the time of the year. But like I feel like I'm trying to once I go more in depth. I feel like it's a game that that people need to at least check it out, you know. So especially for the efforts that Ubisoft, the whole team has put behind.
Yeah, because I feel like you're right. I feel like they did put a lot of efforts. Heck, when we were at Ubisoft, they showed us some of the efforts they put into this game, and I was like, wow, like they put a ton in sound design. I will say this: if you're wearing headphones and you're walking through the foresters they're deep, and you actually can't really see anything unless you're using this senses, but you can hear animals coming from your left and right, and there's a lot. Like I would say this: the environment is trying to kill you at all times, whether it's the RDA who are the enemies. The plants are trying to kill you, and the animals are trying to like the plants will kill you. Everything is trying to kill you at all times in this game. So it does add to suspense, but I'm right there with you, Marcel. Like the very beginning, a lot of things happen and some like pretty traumatic things happen to your character.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever.
Well, I mean that sucks, you know, type of thing. And then like, I don't know, it's really hard to connect with everything. But like I do like the whole like plants how they interact with you. Like some plants might hide, or some plants might approach you, or some plants might shock you as well and everything. Like it's really they've done so many cool things. And it's sad that it's like I just don't have that connection with Avatar, you know. So
Same.
I also I noticed, not really gameplay related, but in classic Ubisoft fashion, they released like this huge thing they've been working on at full price, and then like a week later they like brought down the price. Now I don't know if it's to catch on to sales, but I feel like that leaves a very bad taste in people's mouths if they bought it like early for a gift, or like if they had already bought it because they love Avatar, and immediately they're like, oh yeah, let me slash the price. Like, if you feel the game is worth like 60 or 50, just like sell it at that. Don't burn your like most hardcore, Avatar fans. And I feel like this isn't the first time they've done that. Which again, I saw someone post about it because like, oh man, I just bought this, but like, damn, it's already
Well,
it's already on sale.
I would say this: if you're on PC, Ubisoft Plus is a steal. Sign up right away because you get the games day and date. So if you're a PC player, just think about what you could get right now. You could get The Crew Motorfest, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and Avatar right now on Ubisoft Plus on PC. Those are 3 fantastic games right off
I
the
think
bat. So the
Ubisoft
value's
Plus
there.
works on console as well.
Oh, on Xbox, not on PlayStation.
On Xbox. Also, you know what? That's your first problem right there. You know,
Ooh.
I'm on all of them. It doesn't matter to me. I'm on Switch. I'm on PlayStation. I'm on Xbox.
Yeah.
I just don't really play on PC. That's all.
Well, I know that's fair enough. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one question I had about especially the fast travel, there isn't like a food and drink mechanic in this game. Is there? Is it only
Yeah.
fast travel you have to eat, or do you have to stay consistently full and hydrated
You have to, and so does your mount.
throughout the whole game?
Yeah.
Oh,
But I
what a
will say
pain.
this for your mount, I think it's called an ikran. See, that's the other thing. Like, I can't get the names of these things. There are birds that you can eat while flying in the air, which I did learn about, which is great. So they're like, you'll see flocks of birds and you can go in through and your mount will just eat them because they have to fill up. But food is plentiful. Like, food is everywhere. You can eat plants and you can kill animals, and then you got your food right there. And then every single one of these huts that you can go to, there's a cooking station, and all those stations are fast travel, so you can get throughout the map very quickly. It's just, I will say this: they have a mechanic in there that when you clear out these refineries, that it heals that area of the map. And I really think that's a very cool. It's like, so when you get to certain areas of the map, everything is dead. There's no animals, the plants, you can't do anything. Then once you harvest, and once you get rid of the refinery, all the plants come back, and the plants actually overtake the refineries, and it'll just be vegetation everywhere. So it's very cool mechanic, but yes, you have to eat all the time. All the time. But you can upgrade your character, your Navi, very easily. There's lots of ways to do it so that your health bar can go up so you don't have to eat as quickly. Because guns hurt and you can't use them back.
True statement.
Guns hurt.
Yeah, guns do hurt.
So there's been another game that has come out that's been turning the tide in some people's minds,
Wow.
Sky.
and that is Skull and
the guy.
Bones. It has
Honest-
been years since this was first announced, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it
Back when
announced in
pirates were like the thing to do.
2014 or whatever, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have to look it up.
Yeah,
It was a long time ago.
16. That was a long
I'll
time
look
let-
it up. I'll look it
It's
up.
a
'Cause Pez,
long time
Pez,
ago.
you are the
yeah.
pirate guy. I played it, but you are the pirate guy.
All right. I'm going to allow our guest at first to talk about it because Marcel has also played it, and I would love to hear his thoughts before I rant about why I hate this game.
Well, I too hate the game as well. Actually, you know what? It's interesting. I actually enjoyed the game a little bit. I'm not the biggest pirate fan. I have played Sea of Thieves, and I know everyone really raves about like wanting to have like they wanted like an Assassin's Creed Black Flag, like, just all ships. Like, why haven't Ubisoft done it? And then finally they brought it here. And I don't know, maybe it's the fact that people have been waiting so long for this game that they're just like, I don't care anymore type of vibes. But I really enjoyed this game. From the close beta that I played, they gave us 6 hours to play it, and I played on Saturday. And just everything with the whole ship, like the movement of the ships, and like the fact you can have your own ship if you want to run with a crew as well. They have their own ship as well, and I find that alone is already a benefit over Sea of Thieves. Like, because like to coordinate with people sometimes with Sea of Thieves, just like you get so frustrated. You're like, I don't want to play this game with you anymore because you're not dumping water out the ship fast enough, or you didn't reload the cannons. Like, you have your own crew, you do your own thing, and then like they have their own crew and same as well. And you guys just roam together if you wanted to. but overall, like just like the amount of quests you can do in this games is like it's outstanding. How you can dress your pirates. Although the pricing for dressing your pirates is a little, it's like I don't know if they took like 2023 prices of inflation, because like just dress like one pants is like $2,000. I'm like, for a pair of pants, like I'll just roam naked. Forget it. I don't need no pants. Forget it now. One thing I did find a little confusing was like it had like a whole world event, and just getting out there. I found it like there was no chance for you to even get to those world events, and especially they're super high level, and once you leave a certain area, like it's like level like 10 and above, and like I found they didn't give enough time for you to test those out in the 6 hours, because I didn't really reach to those high levels to test out the, like if you have a world event, you want to give like a taste of it. Why don't you like kind of lower the levels so everyone has a get a little taste of it, and with that event. But overall, I did enjoy it. I'll love to know why you didn't like it as well. But like, I'm not the biggest pirate fan, so.
So my problem with it is I feel so I'm coming from I played a lot of Sea of Thieves. So for me, it was like me and a crew of 3 running around islands being pirates, having a grand old time. I feel like Black Flag did piracy better in terms of the mechanics on the ship. The ship's combat I felt was better than it was in Skull and Bones. I also wasn't a fan of being able to, or I don't like the simplicity of being able to just pull things in from your ship like that are in the water. I guess my expectation was more of a, this is such a dumb term to use, but more of like a pirate like sim, or like a more like pirate like realism than what was given. To me, I played on PC as well in the closed beta, and to me the look of the game, it ran well, but I don't think it looked great.
I would agree with you with that. Yeah.
But it ran flawlessly. Like I had no problems. I was running it at, whatever, 100 frames per second, no issues. I just didn't think it looked like a last gen game. Some of the mechanics seemed very like mobile game mechanics, where it's just like press the button and pick up all the stuff and keep going, which for some people that's great, but it wasn't for me. So I also didn't like that you had a 6-hour window, and most of that there was no combat. So you got like the combat tutorial, and then there was a lot of dialogue, a lot of quests. The quests were fine. And then there was the world events that you talked about. It's like, okay, this is cool. I want to go do this. And it's either get there in time and get destroyed, or you don't get there in time. And it's like, well, I just wasted 20 minutes sailing north for no reason. So I'm very on the fence about it. It didn't leave a great taste in my mouth, but I also didn't play with people. So as we know, playing with friends always changes the game. So definitely willing to give it a second chance. But as someone who came in from the Sea of Thieves community, it left a lot to be desired. And it just, I was sitting there like, I could just be playing Sea of Thieves right now. Like this isn't really, I'm not like having a great time.
Yeah. I would also add that like, cause just, I know Sea of Thieves, the art style for the characters are, in the middle of cartoony and everything like that. Where like, but the water is what was the one thing I would say about Sea of Thieves. Like, wow, this water looks fantastic, and I'm kind of surprised with this game. Like, it does. I expected something to look. I expected to look great, and then I'm just like, nothing really wowed me.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, well, I know that's water. Okay, it's moving and everything, but like, it didn't. I'm like, it didn't really look real, which I kind of was hoping they kind of did something like that. So that is definitely the department I did agree on. For me, for the combat wise. I mean, I just blew up other ships. I was like, I'm coming after you, right? Just like, I don't know who you are. I'm gonna blow you up and everything. I didn't really run with anyone as well. I did a single player run. But like there were like ships that you're supposed to just blow up and everything. And it does get really chaotic as well, because sometimes the ships, like the enemy ships, will just gang up on you, especially if other random people just joined in. It was just like start adding on more random ships, and like it's just like open season after that. You just hope, like duck and hope. And the one thing I did like was this, like a little like a risk and reward situation. If you do get sunk, there's a fee for you to come back right away, or you could head back to the main island. and you could pay that fee, but you come back with less health to get back your loot that you lost at the water, and then like that way you could put it back in the warehouse as well. So that was like a little fun like mechanic that I did enjoy from the game.
The one thing, sorry, Waba. The one thing we don't really know about is there were no microtransactions. So I don't know. This game is probably going to have them, but
I think they're going to turn them on after the fact.
They 100% are.
But we saw where they could be.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to have.
I agree with everything you guys said, but I was more mad. I liked it more when I didn't have to be in the boat, and then when I got back, like when I was like, "Oh, I'm going to mainland," or when you get to go search the ships and all that, and I was like, "Oh, there's really just they're not going to let me do that a lot." The game isn't for me, even though I love Assassin's Creed Black Flag and I love the naval mechanics. I think I think you hit the nail on the head, Pez. When the game you said to me during the weekend, Pez was like, the game feels like a PS4 game. It felt like a PS4 game.
Well, it's been in development for years.
It was meant for it, I think.
So 2017 is when they announced it.
I'm so interested in this game from like a project management perspective. Like, who is it for? So we go into these like cycles of what's popular. So you have like the zombie cycle where everybody was coming out with zombie games. Like, you know, like that's when Last of Us was big. You know, well, you guys don't like it. I love Days Gone. Then you had a pirate cycle where everything was pirates. You can like see it. Now I feel like we're the cycle where it's like futuristic-y, like, you know, like that. And then they missed they missed the boat. Ha.
Wow.
But like, and then they double down on it. It's so crazy to see that like there's studios that say like, yeah, you know what, like we announced it, it didn't happen. You know, like this happened at E3 all the time. Rest in peace. And like we just saw it with like Last of Us Factions or whatever the multiplayer was. They're like, you know, we've been working on this, but like it's just not going to be profitable. So like, why did they come out with this? Like, I'm so surprised that they didn't say like after a few years, like, yeah, you know what, maybe this isn't gonna be what we wanted it to be anymore.
It is due to Singapore. They legally have to bring this game out due to this agreement with the Singapore government.
Yeah, I don't think they would have.
That is
if they didn't
that is why.
Really?
Yeah. If they didn't have
they would
that,
have canceled this game.
Yeah.
Wait, but you can't just say that and act like that's normal. Can you tell us about like this Singapore agreement?
So I remember hearing about this, and I had to look it up. So like they are obligated to release this game to the Singapore government. Because I think like I had to look up why they have to bring it up.
Because they got tax breaks. I saw.
Yeah, I think
they
that's
got tax breaks to make the game, and were funded. A part of the game was funded by the Singapore government.
Yeah.
If you actually, did you not know? So when you start the beta, almost everybody of Ubisoft made this game. Every single Ubisoft studio comes on the
studios. It's so crazy.
It was insane to see the amount of studios that have had hands in this game. Studios I didn't even know Ubisoft had.
So because they have an agreement with Singapore, they have to release. I don't understand. Isn't the labor like the people, the project team is being paid for their actions? It's not, or is it dependent on like the sales of this game? Is that why?
Well, if they got funding from the country to do it, the country they probably signed a contract to get
the country's vested in the game
to get that grant, and then the country is like, you signed a contract, you have to release this.
Okay, I mean,
apparently the game was initially planned as the expansion to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag back in 2013, but has since been designed in a hell due to a classic case of mismanagement for 8 years. According to one former developer.
Jeez, that's so wild. This is such an interesting. The game is interesting to me, and it has nothing to do with the actual game.
I would love to ask
you just threw it
friend,
in that they're beholden
Marcel,
to a government.
I would love to ask our friend that we know that used to work at Ubisoft and be like, please give me the story.
Let's hear this story. But like that studio's not even involved in it, but which is so funny. All the studios, that one's not in it.
That was like one of the only ones that I didn't see on the screen. It was like in shock.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Hey, at least it plays, because if I was petty and I was like Ubisoft and they're like, no, you have to release it, I'm like, fine, send it as is. The thing would be like glitchy and buggy, $5. No,
this game would have been canceled if it wasn't for the government.
That's so interesting. Like that, I had not heard that.
But I will say the water looks beautiful in the game. Like water is hard to do in a game, and it looks good. And the wind mechanic is kind of cool. That if you're downwind, the ship won't go. Like I'll give it to them for certain things, but the character creation screen, I didn't care. I didn't care.
No.
So at least
Anyways,
in
we'll see what the
in-
game looks like when it comes out.
when's it
It
coming?
should be like a
When's this out?
February
Maybe like a
2024.
free to play game. Like, I don't know.
That's
I
not. You know
love
what,
that
Marcel?
idea.
That would be. This is the throw it on PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass. Put it on everything and let everybody play it.
Right? Exactly. Just play it and then, microtransaction and, cut your losses from there.
They'll probably make more off those than
Probably.
sales.
I
Definitely.
think if you got everybody to play this, people would jump in because of the multiplayer aspect where people are like, you know what? Let's just play together. Let's just have fun with it.
Yes, they
Rome-
should be pivoting this into making it popular with creators and making it like an RP. Like it would be like that's where look how many iterations of GTA we have, and now 6 is coming up, but it's a different experience because you're on a boat. Like literally, if you gave this pay streamers money, they'll play it, and then you put microtransactions in the game or like whatever. Like that's how you make your money back with this thing.
Yep. It is Singapore government. So
Bless you,
Well,
Singapore.
We won't be able to play that game until next year, maybe. But let's talk about some of our favorite games from this year.
Just,
Yeah,
I don't know what
you're on a
happened
roll.
in the 3 weeks I haven't been here, but the man is
Dude, he was
hitting-
bad last week too.
What
My
do you mean?
man- my man is hitting his prime. We have Waba Plays is in his week 15 Josh Allen phase right now, throwing
well,
tutties
Pez,
like
Pez,
crazy.
thank you for your Buffalo Bills waking up.
You're welcome. It was all I did. I did that. I called Josh and I was like, "Hey,
Me.
you need to
Joshua.
first off, you need to fire Ken Dorsey, and second off, stop throwing interceptions." And he said,
It
okay.
is pretty hilarious though that the Chiefs can't win unless Taylor Swift's there. Like that's just like a weird thing.
I mean,
Tay-Tay, man.
a lot of people can't win unless she's there. She's got the power.
Shira,
Something like that.
Yeah.
So I know we've talked a lot about game of the year, we're not talking about the Game Awards. All right, that's in the past. You wanna
Actually,
talk about-
I
Yep.
want to ask one thing.
Never
to
mind,
Marcel.
pending.
Hold on. Marcel was at the Game Awards.
Ooh.
Our sense of this was that the Game Awards was a giant advertisement and it wasn't about the developers.
What was a big advertisement? Yeah.
You were there. What was
Yeah.
the sense from the people there? Before we get into the game, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Waba, because you brought up Game Awards. I'm like, oh my god, Marcel.
No,
was
that's fine
there.
because at the point we talk, it will be done with the Game Awards, so it works out.
No, but the Game Awards is a big advertising thing, and for me, I went down for networking and to talking to people there. These are like the big chances to talk to, like your Doug Bowser's, your Phil Spencer's, even Reggie as well. Like everyone is there. This is your chance to talk to everyone in the industry. Overall, in the show, like I had friends who just they went to all the parties and like little meetups, and then they went back to the hotel to watch the show with their community, and then they came back afterwards.
Let's
Really?
go.
Yeah, because you're just sitting there and you're just watching trailers and everything. It's just a big way to be like, well, here are our upcoming games. You're literally watching 3 hours of ads, so which is not a problem at all. And it is cool to be there and watching the Alan Wake performance. That was outstanding as well and everything. Who's gonna win an award and get to react with your friends. But for me, it was more networking. So
Is Gonzo the Muppet as tall in person as he is on television?
yeah, something's propping him for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. So
Sorry, the fact that Gonzo got more speaking time. Never mind.
yeah, it's wild. It's
You
wild.
canay go down this road. I just wanted to ask him.
No.
if he
No,
was
but it
there
is
and the
interesting
vibe
to hear
there.
from someone who was there. I will say it does sound like it looks like a fun, event to go to and be a
Yeah.
part of that, basically that hype, whether it's at the event or everything surrounding it. So
No, definitely. If you have the chance and the budget to go down there to meet with other people that, especially people who you've seen in the industry or people who you want to meet, that's the best event to go to. Definitely, it's a good business expense for sure for that.
business, you speaking my language.
Oh yeah, you and Waba are best friends now. Jesus.
But it is
He's
a
always
business
just like,
expense.
I guarantee
Come
you
right
after
off.
PAX East, Waba's gonna be like, we'll do something, and Waba's like, can I get that receipt?
Yeah.
You just wait until
Yeah,
PAX, dude.
Hey, you don't want taxes coming after you, so.
Well, he is like, well, I will say this: at Three Dads, Waba's in charge of the money.
There you go.
I'm very
You heard
aware.
that,
You're
IRS.
gonna claim that PlayStation Portal you got right beside you.
Yeah, that
Ooh, that's a
you
good
gotta-
idea.
Yeah, you just showed it. It's content. You can write it off.
Yeah,
you
you
have
write
to-
it off.
you-
There you go.
well, technically, you have to like. Never mind. It's
No,
I'll do a video
technically, it's
review on it. Don't
content.
worry.
it
Right
is,
I'll
off.
do a
but
review on it.
There you go. You did an unboxing already. You're halfway there.
Done.
the unboxing
Content.
was really cool.
Write it off.
There you go. There
So
you
good.
go.
It's a write off, David.
So, Marcel, give me your favorite game this year. Didn't have to come out this year.
Oh, boy.
What was the favorite game that you played this year?
There's so many though. There's so many. Like Dead Island 2 was a good one as well. I played. Of course, Zelda as well.
I did
That's
like
a good
Dead
one.
Island too.
Dead Island is like it's a fun game. Like I want people to go back and test that game out, especially with the DLC. There's more DLCs coming out for that game as well. But I will say my game of the year is Phantom Liberty. Just that
Dude,
expansion alone,
love that game.
the story of that game. Like I've never paused so many times being like, I don't know what to pick because I don't want this to happen. I don't want this, or I don't want to hurt this person. I don't want or choose this person or something like that. The choices in that game, and I had such a blast with that game. I actually didn't want it to end. Like I've actually like there was like a crossroads point you reach in the game, and I saved it there. And when I picked one option, I went back the next day to see the other option, and I was like, "Oh, this is 10 times better." Or like just to see, I literally saw all the endings in that game, and I was just blown away by it. So
I'm gonna throw a hot take here.
Hmm?
Idris Elba's character was better than Keanu Reeves' character. That's what I'm gonna say here.
I mean, because it's his story this time around, so that he got more of a spotlight.
I liked it more for the espionage factor.
Mhm.
And I love the fact that the map was so small. Like it was nonstop action all the time. And that
Yes.
opening mission that you do is crazy pants. When the plane crashes and you do all that, like, oh my God. Like,
It's
well
crazy.
done. I played it and
It
I was
felt like a movie. It honestly felt like
Yeah.
a movie. Like, it could be its own movie, honestly.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It could be a TV, like it could be, HBO. Just do
Yeah.
Phantom Liberty. Like I went back and played 2.0 because I never finished Cyberpunk before because I was like, it was pretty buggy. And then I played 2.0 and I got to the Phantom Liberty and I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God. I was like, I don't even want to go back to the Cyberpunk 2.0 part. I just want to stay in the world of Phantom. It was just so good. That game was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, but like this year, the gaming is so good. Like Hi-Fi Rush is one of my favorite ones, but like Phantom Liberty, like takes the cake for me.
All right, Waba.
I picked 3, and I know you said 1, and I don't.
It's
what
like
it
he
is.
doesn't like. It's
I mean,
like
I
he's
snuck in some others in there. So
Yeah,
I
you
can
can
see why
talk
you
about
can-
one in
I'm
general. You can give honorable
purposely
mention.
stating that I'm
You can give
breaking the rules.
You can honorable mention some. You know what?
I'm a habitual role player. Okay, I will honorable mention. So 2, I want to talk about NHL 24. Why it's the same copy? Okay, hear me out. I play a lot of NHL. I play more than you, person who's listening, who's disagreeing with me. I do. All right, and I'm better than you. Kidding. But I play a lot of it. I think the gameplay is definitely superior. The only issues I have a lot of quality of life and content. But at the core of the game, I think the gameplay is so much better. They took away a lot of like the glitch goals people said. Obviously, there are new ones that people move and adapt to. But a lot of the ones where it goes in and I'm like, man, I can't stop that because of limitation X, Y, Z are gone. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm getting ready for Team of the Year. They made a Bobby Orr event, which was probably their most successful event all year. So if you're
Still
a Bruins
wish they
fan,
could have done more. I still
know.
wish they could have.
Yeah.
I still wish they would have done like Bruins Centennial for that event, and then the
Yeah.
final like magic card that you get to see is Bobby Orr, and you're just like, what the f?
Fair.
And like right before that week, like they did it on a 3-week period. Like it's Bruins Centennial year. Like wake up, guys! And did like the first
They're
week where
Vancouver.
you did like the lunch pail squad. The Bruins had a lot of lunch pail guys
Mhm.
have those cards, so you had to use them. And then the second week, and then the third week, it's like Chara and Bergeron, and it's just like you hit us with it, and then they're like, if you do all this, you get Bobby Orr.
I would love that, but it's I'm shocked Vancouver gave us that, but that was a big deal because he had never been
No,
playing.
100%.
I want to know what accent that was.
I was trying my best. I was trying.
That was the suburban post-aparted movie launch.
Can I just ask? Because I know I talked to Court about this a lot. Because I assume all of us play NHL, right?
Yeah, so Marcel plays NHL as well.
Yeah, I like since like even before I even had a number on the game. Like I played
There we go.
NHL back on the Genesis. By the way, that's another reason why I had a Genesis.
Well, it was
So-
NHLPA, right? NHLPA hockey.
Yeah. And then so What is one? I tell Core all the time. One feature I want to come back. What is one feature you want to come back to the NHL series?
Pez, you go, because I'm a new school player.
I want GM connected.
Yes. Okay. Good. That's one. Good man. Good man.
I just want 5 days of content on HUD. Like, seriously. That's it.
I don't know. I want GM connected, but honestly, you know what I want? I want a good franchise mode. Bring back like NHL. Bring back like
97,
NHL.
97, 98 was good.
Bring back like NHL. No, bring back NHL 2K6's franchise mode. Like, bring that into the
Is
current.
that the one with Ronak on the front?
That is the one with Martin St. Louis on the front.
Martins. That's a good game. That was better than NHL that
There.
year.
So 2K, I always found that 2K games had better gameplay and better depth, but EA NHL games were better looking. And I felt like that's why EA NHL always got kind of the nod, was because it was better looking than the 2K games. But the 2K games had some of the best franchise modes, both in NHL and NFL 2K. NFL 2K5, best football game ever made. So I want a good franchise mode because I'm a franchise guy. So that's what I want.
Yeah.
Deep.
You don't want to sell hot dogs for like $5 this franchise.
So tedious.
Your fans are so pissed at you. I'm like, I don't think they've seen Toronto prices for hot dogs. Look, I'm selling at $5. The hot dog is like $9 here.
He's like, do you not see I have like 50% of my cap on 4 guys? I need to charge people a lot of money.
I need to make money somehow, folks.
I went to a Bruins game on Saturday and they gave out a free beer. I got a free beer at a Bruins game. I had to sign up for something and I didn't. She gave me the beer and then was like, "Oh, you can sign up for this." And I like scanned the QR. I scanned the QR code and then I never like finished it. And I was like, "Does Jeremy Jacobs know that you're doing this?" And she was like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's right. That's right. He's only the owner who has locked the NHL out twice. Don't worry about it. Give me this free Heineken Silver, my friend."
Oh my god. But no, so it's good that we have full NHL fans.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. I was just say Gem Connected, and I want to play like a season with live roster. I don't know why they took that feature out. Like, just bring back. Like, I want to play along with the season. Like, oh, okay, let me just play along with the team and see what happens.
Because Tugi and other people will do it for free.
You just reminded me. I want custom season length. That's what I want. I don't want to do 82 games. If I want a 30 game season, give it to me.
I want seasons in HUT and not this like refresh. I want to actually play a season in HUT, and I want everything in HUT to count towards a program, just like they do in MLB The Show. So then WABA will stop complaining about I need content every day, because the way they set it up right now, people are asking for content every day. But if you just gave a program and had content inside of it, so like every day there was a new thing and a new tops, like new OPG, like, oh my God, just look at what they do with MLB The Show. Take the good parts and put it in NHL, and we'll all be happy and stop complaining. Make it so these cards matter, and make it so when WABA pulls a Mario Lemieux again, they don't get stuck with it. Don't make cards untradeable unless you get them in a certain way. Like, stop this untradeable garbage. Your marketplace doesn't work. It makes absolutely no sense. And now I'm going to go on a rant. Go watch my video about this.
Bingo.
This is my fault. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I'm gonna do one more honorable mention. It is EA, and it's Jedi Fallen Order. And it's because I don't play a lot of single player games, and I thought this was really good. I don't play a lot of games like that, like where you like go to the. I'm gonna say Soulsborne, even though I know people who actually play those are gonna say no. When you go to like the campfire and you like reset the enemies, it's great. Like, I find the characters very compelling, even in the first section where you're meeting new characters. I thought a lot of events that happened actually were pretty emotional for people that you didn't have a long relationship with. I thought the story beats hit very well, and I thought the payoff was really good, and it looks great. Like, you feel like you're actually a Jedi. Like, it's really cool. And to Cal's struggles too, and the fact that it's canon, I mean, they're doing a great job with it. And the fact that, you know, Disney is like, yeah, like Cal's part of it. Like, that shows that he's successful, and I think so is that franchise. Mentions out of the way. This is going to come as a surprise to no one. My game of the year is A Space for the Inbound. Shocker. By Mojikin Studio. I will never say enough good things about this until they make their next game that makes me sad. So again, by Moji Ken, we got to meet the publisher, Toj and Chorus at PAX last year. I hope that they'll be there again because I'd love to see what they're cooking. This game is about like 1990s like Indonesia, and it's all pixel related. There's cats everywhere. It's great, but it like blurs the line between like everyday life and also to like everyday like school life plus a little bit of like fantasy and like supernatural, and it digs into that a little more, and it takes you on this story that I don't think you really expect. It's gives you kind of this framework. You can do like a little bit of side missions that add to it, but like towards the end, like between the soundtrack and like the dialogue, the writing's excellent. It's just it's just really good, and it's like an 8-hour experience, and you feel like you've been on this long journey even though it's not really a long game. So if you do have free time, I know holidays and stuff are coming up, if you want to be a sad boy, try that game out. It's worth it, and it's on sale everywhere right now because they're doing like I know Steam has like this Siago, which is a Southeast Asia game, like Onward like sale. So please check that out. They're a great developer. They're super good to us when we went and met them, Pez. And yeah, the game is amazing, and I wish it won Games with Impact because I think it deserves it more than anything. So that's my game of the year.
PlayStation Portals are available on Amazon right now, Marcel.
Ooh, all right. I see there's a lot of cats in that game too, and there's a demo available as well.
It's
Looks
so
pretty
good.
neat.
Oh
I
yeah,
love it.
so Marcel, you're in Pez has a cat.
Hmm?
I have a
Definitely
cat.
dad.
Baba loves
Yeah.
cats. We're a cat podcast.
That's
Cat
right.
safe podcast.
We're actually
There you
all
go.
girl dads as well. So
There you go.
that's why.
Not,
we're
well, not
definitely-
me.
Well,
just
you're a
have my-
cat dad.
My
Same
cat's a female. If that counts. I don't
So
know.
you're girl dad.
I
You're girl dad.
was gonna say that's why we're all broken. Girl, dad. Who wants to take it next?
You know what? I'm gonna piggyback on the Toji love here. One of the games of that I loved in 2023, not my game of the year, but one of the games that I loved, Coffee Talk 2, came out in March, I believe. So if you haven't heard of Coffee Talk or the second one, Coffee Talk 2, they are heck yeah, dude. They are basically like character development simulators where you own a coffee shop, and it's set in like this futuristic Seattle where it's not just humans, there's like robots and aliens and blah blah blah, and basically you serve these people drinks and you learn a lot about them, and it's wonderfully written, and it was such a great experience on the PC and on the Steam Deck if you have one, that it will it really pulls you in because of how great the Court, you can do you little nerd glasses. You're remotely playing your PS5 and it's right next to you. So stop it.
I'm not right now. There's nothing on the screen.
So it is it was great. And it's about 10 hours or so, maybe a little less, maybe a little longer, but in that range. And I highly recommend it. You can grab them both. They're usually on sale. Again, independent publisher, and it was a great game. I highly recommend it. Second game that I really enjoyed that I actually forgot came out this year was Fire Emblem Engage. I'm not a huge like early Fire Emblem guy, but I'm starting to really enjoy the series, and I think that all started with Three Houses, which was excellent. If you've never played Fire Emblem, play Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's excellent. Engage is just as good. You know, it's your standard JRPG turn-based. Not like incredibly deeply written, which you wouldn't expect from Fire Emblem, but it was a fun game. Came out in January, really like satiated the palate until Tears of the Kingdom came out in May. Tears of the Kingdom was a game I really enjoyed. I actually have to go back to it because my game of the year pulled me away from all other video games, which is Baldur's Gate 3. So as a PC nerd, as a D&D nerd who had this game in early access for the past like 2.5 years, I played the crap out of it. I played it for 100 and something hours. I've done co-op, I've done regular. I'm doing my evil playthrough right now. I've modded it. I played vanilla. It's a great time. The one thing this game needs is crossplay, and it'll just be a home run 10 out of 10 so I can play with my other D&D nerds who play it on PlayStation. but it's a great game and I had a great time playing it. So for me, all those people, first off, just want to say all those people out there that are like, oh, it shouldn't be turn-based. It is a D&D game licensed by Wizards of the Coast, who own the D&D license. So they're not going to be like, here's money, make it however you want to make it. Like, it doesn't work that way. But I enjoyed it. I loved it. That's my game of the year, hands down.
Fire Emblem's good. I really like Fire Emblem. And then the poor Larian owner was sitting there with this suited armor, so that has to give at least some kudos to trying out the game for that, right?
Yeah,
so for 3 hours he's sitting there.
And unlike little indie games like Dave the Diver, Baldur's Gate is actually made by an independent studio. Just want to throw that out there. Court,
Let's go.
talk to me.
So
boss.
my game I want to my game of the year is, I'll get to that, but my honorable mention, I would say Assassin's Creed Mirage. I didn't have high expectations for it. Oddly enough, I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan, and it's almost like the previews that people did of it almost like got me out of it, because I felt like there was a lot of negativity before the launch of this game, and after playing it, I don't feel any of it was warranted. It was going back and playing the Assassin's Creed 3s and 2s, but like in better graphics, but with the same sort of jumping off walls for no reason, but like almost like, oh my God, that's hilarious. Like I'm falling off, I'm getting to the top of a building and I jump off and I'm like, oh, I pressed the wrong button again. But that's just like the old Assassin's Creed. But the combat systems that they brought back and the stealth mechanics, that's what I love about Assassin's Creed, of trying to figure out, okay, how can I get through this whole castle that I have to go through and kill everybody without being seen? It's a lot like Rainbow Six from back in the day, or Splinter Cell. I really love those games. So when Assassin's Creed came out and they had all those mechanics and then they took it away, I was like, oh, like I like the RPGs, but I'm almost hoping that after getting to play Mirage, which I felt had rich history, went back to the roots of Assassin's Creed, my hope is that that Ubisoft will make more games of this ilk in the Assassin's Creed universe, that are these shorter stories. It's like 20 something hours to finish, but like it's phenomenal. Especially that it wasn't a full price game. Like this was a very good game to play. I agree with Waba on Star Wars. I really enjoyed that this year. I really enjoyed Phantom Liberty stole my heart this year. But I have to give kudos to my daughter's favorite game and give it a shout out, which is Dreamlight Valley. She really loves this game, and we have played a ton of this game. It's also a Toronto studio that made it. So shout out to them. I don't know the name of it. I don't know if you know, Marcel. I can't remember. Game Loft. So my daughter can't get enough of this game. She literally logs in every day. She changes her outfit. She goes in the shop. She's learned all the meta on how to get the most money out of this game. But she has had a ton of fun, and she even shares this game with my wife, who doesn't play a lot of video games. So it's great. But my game of the year, and a lot of it has to do with the experience I had with it, is Spider-Man 2. And I know it's like an easy cop-out because it's a huge game that came out from Sony, but this was the first game that my daughter and I pretty much almost finished together. So there's a mechanic on the PlayStation 5. It's also available on the Xbox, where you can change player one to be 2 controllers so that you can actually control the same. It's called second control. It's an accessibility function. It's there for people that need that, but I used it so that I could play games with my daughter that are single player. So what would happen is my daughter would actually do all the swinging in the game, and any of the fights in the street she would do, but any of the mission fights I would do, or any of the stealth stuff. So what we could do is she could swing and get us to all the pinpoints. She's going on the map. She's picking what costumes we can wear. There was even some missions she did herself. The mission where you're deaf, she did that whole mission and she thought was amazing. The Howard mission, that was one of the first missions ever where my daughter's playing a video game. She started crying and she didn't really want to go to school, because it was right before school when we played it, and she understood exactly what happened. So I don't want to give anything away, but she understood what happened and she was very upset about it. And she was like, oh my God. And she even turned and she goes, this is not fair. And I'm like, this is a video game. Like, people don't realize how powerful games are. My daughter's only 7. I will say this though, when Venom came to the screen, because friends of mine had already played it, they literally told me, once you see him, she can't play the game anymore. And yes, it goes in a dark turn for an Insomniac Spider-Man game, but the story is compelling. It's rich. It is the best superhero video game I have ever played, and finally took the mantle from Batman Arkham Asylum, which is, or or any of the Batman Arkham games, they're just so well done. But Spider-Man 2 is the best superhero video game I have ever played. It's phenomenal. It's such a good game.
I find it very ironic that that's your game of the year, and that's the one game you couldn't get for the longest time. So,
Dang.
Oh, it's so
Wow.
well done. Oh, Jesus, well done. Well done.
Get body.
thank you, thank you.
So that's those
good
are our
pick,
games
good
of the
pick.
years.
Yeah.
If you agree or disagree, let us know which one is your favorite.
And I almost want to.
know.
Sorry, I almost want to
Yeah.
give an honorable mention as well to a game I just finished, and it's only a DLC, but it's a beefy DLC, and that's God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. I do not like roguelikes. I always can't stand it, especially when Far Cry did it for their DLC, and I was like, oh my god, like why does everybody have to pigeonhole a roguelike? Now I understand this. I would say it's more of a roguelite, but God of War is made for it. Sometimes games aren't made for it. I don't think Far Cry's DLC was made for being a roguelike. It just didn't work. But God of War Valhalla is unbelievable. As far as I would say, who loves roguelike, you need to play this. Like, it makes sense with Kratos. There's different difficulty levels, but it makes total sense with the character. The story they tell is phenomenal. And for anybody who is a fan of the God of War series, and I'm talking about playing all of them, you need to play this. And that's all I will say. I don't want to give anyone away. I've done a review. You can see it up on 3 Dads in a Console. I'm going to be doing a video review. But in my video review as well, I'm not giving away any of the story because I don't think that's fair, because the story is phenomenal.
Excellent. Love it. And again, 3dadsconsole.com where you can see this and more. We are almost at time. Any final thoughts for the folks?
Yeah,
No, I just did it.
play Super Mario Brothers Wonder. It is a
That
fantastic
is a
game.
good game. That is also a very good family game. You can have in my household, all 3 of us can play at the same time.
Cool.
Any game that can do that, well done. Also,
And-
shout out to Bluey. Go play Bluey. That game's amazing.
Yeah.
I was wondering when you're gonna say that. I'm surprised you didn't say at the beginning. I know.
No, I
how
was
much
hoping
you're raving
Waba
about
did,
it.
because that's like Waba's kid loved that just as much.
Oh
as
my
mine.
gosh, she had so much fun. We have a video out with me and her playing. Well, me and her playing it. She shared controller.
We didn't mention it. We're still waiting for Bluey's checks to clear. So once that happens,
Yeah.
My daughter did get the platinum in that game.
once
on her
those
own, and she was so
didgeridoos
proud of
clear,
herself.
we're in.
Those Aussie dollars.
Mhm.
Marcel, if folks want to hang out with you when you're not hanging out with us, where can they find you?
They can find me all over the place. MD14. I'm also on another podcast with other fellow Canadians called a gaming podcast. The letter A, not EH. Just make sure that everyone knows that. But a gaming podcast where we record every once a week. Just talk
Dude,
about
why
games and
did you
everything.
need to have a shirt that's like on April Fool's Day, or like to call on April Fool's Day if you record an episode? It should be EH.
Yep.
That's gonna be our merch for sure. Yeah.
Oh, you
As is
have to.
tradition.
You have to.
I was actually wondering, was there a game that you guys seen like that kind of disappoint you a little bit? You're like, you were looking forward to this game, and you're like, oh, this is.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh,
Not for me.
Starfield. Yeah, I wrote a whole thing,
Yeah.
and I'm done pretending that I like it. Yeah, that game.
I think I'm with them. I even
me.
pre-ordered that game. I paid the extra to play it on Game Pass early, and the mechanics to travel in that world. Oh my god! Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm in a spaceship, and I get in a spaceship. I have to get in the ship, and then get into my map, and then pinpoint, and then just
No.
might as well just warp to everything. Like, what's the point of my
Yeah,
ship?
go play
Like,
Mass
there's no
Effect.
point of the ship. Thank you. Mass Effect did it proper. Just make it a warp.
I am going to I'm going to cop out here a bit and say it was MLB The Show's Diamond Dynasty mode.
It wasn't good. You're right.
Because last year I probably put like 300 hours in MLB The Show, and the changes they made to Diamond Dynasty, especially the sets, made it very, very grindy for almost no reason. And for that, it really killed my enjoyment of the Diamond Dynasty mode. Thankfully, I played a lot of March to October this year, which reignited my love for that mode. So one bad mode made me love a good one again. But yeah, it was definitely Diamond Dynasty. I think
Honorable
need to
mention to Immortal
They didn't
Series.
refresh the UI for that game, by the way.
100%.
Like, I feel like I couldn't tell if I'm playing like 22 or 23. By the way,
It
I was like,
feels-
looks exactly the same.
It feels the same. A lot of it feels the same from even like MLB The Show 15, which I played a lot. Even like I played 15 a lot on the Vita, bless the Vita, and my like PlayStation 3, I think was 15. But it all kind of feels the same.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the sets. Honorable mention to Immortals of Avenue or Avian.
I like
That
that
game was
Really?
yeah.
The story that was super interesting.
So that was the thing.
Okay.
I was just like, I was playing it and I was just like, I even finished it and I'm just like, what did I just play? Like when I
enough.
saw the trailers for that, I was like, oh my God. And then when
Yeah.
I played it, I was like, all right. It just,
Fair
I don't
enough,
know. I
fair
felt
enough.
like I'd already played that game before. That's what I felt like.
Yeah. For me, like when I see that game, is because they test out so much graphical things. That's the thing. That's another thing that, like I mentioned before, I liked a lot with the whole frame generation. It was one of the first ones to come up with that. So I don't know. I haven't finished the game as well, but I have to like. But I played a good chunk of it to be like, oh, it's not so bad. But
I didn't say it was bad. I
I
feel
can
like I
see
played
what
it
you
before.
mean though. Yeah.
I feel like I played it before.
Yeah. For me, was the Invincible. Everything, the story, the demo I played that game, the whole mystery of the game.
I didn't like that game either.
When I played it, I was like, what happened to this game? We had a great demo. Like,
Dude, I watched you play that game for like 2 hours and I kept chirping you. I was like, what are we playing here?
I reached so far, I had to finish it. I was like, I can't not just leave now. I'm like, no, we're close to the end. Let me just end this once and for all.
I got up at 5 in the morning and he was playing it. 5 in the morning, you guys playing this game.
I was so disappointed by that game. I legit forgot I played it until you just mentioned it. Like it was to me,
sorry.
it was
I'm
so
sorry.
forgettable. And yeah, that one was pretty disappointing as well.
Yeah, the demo was great. Like they had like a nice little mystery of the world, and then like when you reach that point in the game, like it just it didn't even like go down a slope. It just fell off a whole cliff. And it's still falling. I don't know what happened to that game.
Yep.
Dude, it was the other reason I watched you play it because I was chatting with you and it was early in the morning because I didn't. I think I was just having a conversation with you. I didn't care about the game itself.
Yeah. Well, like to be honest, like the reason why I was still up because you just easily get lost in that game. Like you'll be in the cave. I'm like, where am I supposed to go? And then like you look in the map and like the map is like all hand drawn, like with pencil notes and everything. I'm like, where am I supposed to go? There's just a bunch of notes on here. I need to figure this out. And like it was just like it was very, very annoying. So
another game just popped in my head. Payday 3, god awful. Payday 3 was not fun.
Had a terrible launch.
Payday's the reason you're not going to be working with Deep Silver anymore.
Listen,
They're not gonna let you.
my review of Dead Island 2 was glowing because that game was so
Very
much
good.
fun.
Oh, dude,
Payday
that
was
way
the
too much fun.
complete opposite. It was not fun. It is laden with microtransactions. And at the time when I reviewed it, when it launched, it was like 3 maps. And the servers were a mess. And it was not fun to play.
Have you played the DLC for Dead Island? How?
Not yet. I need to. It was so much fun. Me and my friends
It's another
had a
fun ride
blast.
in that one. Yeah.
Had a blast.
Well, I'm glad you took us down that road. We played a
Sorry,
lot.
I didn't mean
games.
derail.
No,
your
no,
show.
that was great.
It was great.
Trust me, no, that's like the perfect like final thought. But just for folks to know, this is our last show of 2023. So we are going to be taking a few weeks off. We're going to be when's
Literally
our next show?
2 weeks.
When's our next show? I need to do
It will
dates.
be January
The
10th.
the 10th. You may still see content from us. Again, we might, we're
100%.
still going to be dropping some YouTube videos. We're going to be dropping some articles. So check out us out there, youtube.com/3dadsandaconsole, 3dadsconsole.com. So the content's not stopping. We're just going to take a pause in the podcast, and we're going to be, having some things ready for you when we get back. So stay tuned.
Oh yeah, Waba's got an announcement. I keep forgetting.
Yeah. Well, not me, us.
Oh yeah, sorry, us.
Also, go my final thought. Go check out a gaming podcast because it's very good.
Yes.
It is very
thank
good.
you.
I enjoy it a lot.
You're very chaotic, but I love it. So
I
I'm
love
here
when
for
the
it.
two. I love when some of the hosts argue with each other and forget that other people are there, and then
Oh,
you can
100%.
actually when you're watching it on YouTube, you can see the host of the show and everybody else just all right, guys, like everyone else is here because I know all the personalities. So I'll like chirp one person and I'll just send him a text. I'm like, so this was funny. He's like, it wasn't at the time. I just love it because it's one of the only podcasts that I'll listen to right now that almost has differing personalities, but almost strong personalities at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very good because you have an expert in almost every field.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Exactly, and especially if like for example, Steve Saylor, he talks a lot about accessibility and things that we wouldn't even consider. He'll be like, oh, I wish the game had this for me, or or just for other people as well. I'm like, wow, I didn't even think about that perspective. Like, it's really neat. So,
and if you want to know everything about Banjo-Kazooie, you have Riley on there.
You have Riley on there as well.
And then if you want to know, if you want to hear about Spider-Man, literally every single episode,
we got Caboose. And then if you want to hear about Kojima, we have Camille. So.
All right, so folks, we will be back in 2024. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals, and have a happy new year.
Bye.